And as Susan mentioned, we started out with like the top 5 pitfalls. And as we started like, talking about our experiences and sharing stories, that grew to 10. So we're going to try to move fast and still leave some time open for Q&A at the end. So Susan, do you want to take the very first pitfall?
I will, sure. And just for some background for folks, so interesting, early in my career, I met Jim at Novell. And so we have actually worked together through various organizations, and both ourselves have lived through these integrations together, which you can imagine made for some really fun prep calls. But when I originally met him, he was on the finance side, I'm on ops. And so we had a really nice blend. And so I would say, as you look around your organizations, having those two parties connected is super important. That synergy, I think, made one a little bit more fun, but balanced both our perspectives. And so the first one is kind of talking about the human factors in integrations, and lots of pitfalls that I have actually, oh, I'm seeing a chat here. Oh, okay. Sorry, Kyle. Lots of pitfalls that I've learned about this, but really underestimating the amount of change required when blending companies, whether or not you are the acquired party or whether or not you are making the acquisition. So some things that I've learned in this realm is don't underestimate it. First, be human if you can. Find the least common denominator of the parties involved and try to build relationships in that. Individuals coming into an acquisition, I think logically we know this to be true, but there's lots of fears. There's probably relationships that are built within the company that you're acquiring that, you know, they're really tight, but maybe didn't make it into the due diligence, so you don't know about them. So ways that, you know, I've hedged against this is really stepping back and having conversations with the individual parties that you're acquiring. Some areas that I've lived through. So I've been a part of 4 acquisitions, being the acquired party, and I've been the one that's had to walk the former executive team out one door and then welcome the new executive team in the other. And it's a very awkward place to be. And you really don't know where you should put your loyalty. So these are the things that are kind of in the employees' minds, regardless of title and rank. Lessons that I've learned from that is, for me anyways, open communication is best. I think coming out of probably our 4th integration, I paused for a moment and literally did research in change management to really understand the human factors of change. And it all starts with emotion. Like, the amygdala is there. We all have one. So if you don't start with the understanding of where they are or have some level of empathy to engage them, you're blocked immediately. So, you know, figure out in the integration plan, how do you understand what's happening to them? How do you address uncertainty? Chuck your egos in the back seat. I know it's hard, but these are individuals that you will most likely want to participate and help you identify where the internal pitfalls are, but also where are those really good things that the company's doing, whether it be in a system or in a manual process. And you're going to need their engagement.
Yeah, I mean, it's mergers can be exciting times, right? But also really stressful times on a lot of people. And your points there, Susan, so important about showing kindness, showing appreciation, being honest, being transparent, makes it so much easier for everybody through that process. There's been some really positive experiences and some really not so pleasant experiences. And really is about, I love what you said there, really about like taking the human factor into consideration. How do we want our employees, regardless of how they're going to be impacted by the integration, to feel about this process? So
Yeah, and I always say there's a cost to it. It may not show up on the balance sheet as a line item, but there is a cost to that friction at the very beginning. And so if you can find any way to smooth out that friction and get that engagement, you're setting yourself up very early on for some higher element of success.